Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to see you all here. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to begin because we have quite a lot to sort of put into this call. So welcome firstly to Jaspal's Voice virtual event. This is the first one we're having this year. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'd just like to introduce who I am. And my name is Susan Graham, and I'm the founder of Jaspal's Voice. Now, Jaspal's Voice was named after my sister Jaspal, who sadly passed away from Motor Neurone Disease. And we're a non-profit organisation which raises awareness for MND, also known as ALS, and we also raise funds for communication equipment. So I'm really excited to have you all here today, and hopefully we're going to have some, well, not hopefully, but we do have some amazing speakers who'd like to contribute towards this. So joining us today, we have a superwoman, as I call her. She's an amazing visionary, the founder of NAVAMI, which is a national ambassador for Villages and Aspiration for Mission India, and our own goodwill ambassador, Shweta Singh. And we also have the world-renowned Dr Hemangi Sane. She's the founder of Asha Ek Hope Foundation for ALS in India. And her mission is to build hope and positivity into the lives of people suffering from MND and support research in finding cure. Now, before I begin, I'd just like to explain some of the house rules. So we're recording this session, so if anybody does not want to be part of this recording, please switch off your camera. And I'll also be muting everyone just to keep any background noise away. So if you'd like to say anything, please click on raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. And thirdly, if you'd like to ask any questions, please feel free to type in the chat below, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we possibly can. Now, as part of today's event, I wish to announce our campaign. And this campaign is called #WithoutAVoiceYouFeelAlone. Now, when Jaspal lost her voice, she felt alone. And for those of you who knew Jaspal, you know how vital it was for her to be able to communicate with her family and friends. So our campaign is to reach out to as many people as possible to highlight the loneliness and the emotional pain experienced by MND patients. And we just have a few steps, and I'll tell you how you can get involved in this. So one of the steps is you just get a piece of paper, could be A4 or any size you wish, and just write on it with a marker or a pen of any form, with #WithoutAVoiceYouFeelAlone. And it will look like, I don't know if everybody can see this, like that. So it's something, I don't know if you can all see my screen at the back.
Just lift it up a bit, Susan, I'll see it a bit.
Can you see it?
Down, back towards yourself again. Back. That's not, it's blending with the background.
I think it's the background that's blending. But basically, I don't know if you can all see this at the back here. We've got the #WithoutAVoiceYouFeelAlone. And then just ask someone to take a photograph with you holding this up. And if you don't want to show your face, you can just hide behind it. And the next step is simply then, when you post this picture on one of your social media sites, and just tag it back to Jaspal's Voice, and also tag up to about 5 people or more, and just tell them to do the same process as you've just carried out. Because the aim is to spread the awareness to as many people as possibly globally. And with these 4 steps, you can help. You'll be surprised how much you can help with the power of social media. It can just go viral all over the place, and that's the aim of today. But now I'd like to hand you over to Shweta. Yeah, our ambassador.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Graham, founder of Jaspal's Voice, for your kind words and graciousness.
and a very warm welcome and namaste to our esteemed audience. I'm Shweta Singh, and I'm honored to have recently been appointed Goodwill Ambassador for Jaspal's Voice. And I would like to start by thanking Mrs. Suzanne Graham and Aanika Bhalla for inviting me to be a part of their wonderful organization. I have been fortunate to travel the globe, and that coupled with social initiatives I have undertaken in India. This has allowed me to see a large and diverse cross-section of society. However, nothing could prepare me for when I started to read about the mental and physical effects of MND. It simply broke my heart. And when I learned about the amazing work being carried out by Jaspal's Voice, I knew I had to be involved. As a founder of NAVAMI, which is the National Ambassador for Villages and Aspiration for Mission India, I have had the great privilege to work with the lower economic strata in some of the most economically challenged areas of the world, as was conspicuous by the lack of basic infrastructure in these situations that many people suffered from curable diseases and hardship that could be easily overturned with injection of help from the local authorities. It would be most gratifying to be able to find a mechanism to transfer technologies associated in helping people with MND back to the subcontinent. After speaking to Aanika and having also spoken to some other individuals who have been affected by MND, both directly and indirectly, and having learned about the emotional distress that can be so overwhelming, and mostly because to this date, we have no real cure for people who suffer from motor neurone disease. And this is the same for people of all economic strata across the world. From what I have learned, the condition sadly incarcerates a self-aware and conscious person into a physically degrading body, leading sufferers to the point where they can no longer reliably communicate their needs and their thoughts. One cannot imagine the emotional torture this must bring to the patient, but also to their families, many of whom end up being the main carers. In my own experience, I have come to know somebody who has recently been diagnosed with MND. I have spoken to her over the past several months and therefore witnessed her physical and communicative decline. I was quite able to speak with this person who was a former paramedic about her condition and speak about matters generally until very recently. The concerned person was the main relative of an elderly resident in the care of one of my family's care homes in the UK. As we all know, during these unprecedented times, when families are not able to physically spend time with their relatives who are housed in care homes, it was very sad that this particular person with MND has not been able to come and visit her mother, whom was sadly coming to the end of her life, or even speak to her ailing mother over the phone. She chose to hide her MND so as to not alarm or distress her mother. Sadly, the elderly lady passed away due to natural distress and causes. However, it was more painful to see mother and daughter not being able to connect due to the MND. Unrelenting research has led to several ideas and breakthroughs which has allowed MND patients the opportunity to communicate, which is a major component in helping to relieve the emotional and mental turmoil this illness gives to so many. Awareness is the key to cure. There can be no doubt about that, and that's why we have this campaign, #WithoutAVoiceYouFeelAlone. And I urge each one of you to come forward because your support and voice matters. I look forward to our productive discussion, and I'm pleased to be in contact with all of you today. To our esteemed audience, my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for taking the time to join us here. So let us begin, and let's be the beacon of hope. And with this, I would now take the opportunity, and it gives me immense pleasure to hand over to our special guest, Dr. Hemangi Sane, who is the founder of Asha Ek Hope Foundation for ALS India. So please give her a warm welcome.
Everybody.
Hello.
I would, hi. First of all, I would like to thank Susan for inviting me to today for this wonderful awareness event. And I would like to thank Shweta for giving a wonderful introduction of mine. And I'm thankful to all the audience who is here today to support ALS MNA patients. Now, as you guys can hear, my speech is not exactly normal, and this is because I'm an ALS patient myself. So I'm Dr. Hemangi, and I am founder president of Asha Ek Hope Foundation for ALS MNA patients in India. I would like to share my personal journey of this disease with you all, just to give a small glimpse of what this devastating disease is. In my childhood, I was a very healthy kid, one of the healthiest in my family. With 3 kids, I never felt sick or any major illness. I was very physically active. In my college days, I was playing at a state level, and then I got into medical education. I completed my MBBS from CGS Medical College in Mumbai University, and then I went on to New York Medical College to pursue my post-graduation of MD in internal medicine. I was totally healthy, and after my residency, I was practicing in New York. One day, I was trying to clean my bathroom, and for that, I tried to climb up the commode just to reach the upper part of the door, and boom, dash, I just fell down. And I bruised my back, I bruised my leg, and I went, oh my God, I have become either fat, obese, I have gained weight, or I have not been exercising. So I just brushed it away that, it's just a regular fall. And then slowly I started noticing my left hand finger, the little finger, was not moving. And then I was one more time while walking on the road, my ankle twisted and I again fell. And then it struck me, no, this is something different. I have never felt falling like this again and again. So I thought, let me go and visit a neurologist to see if I have a carpal tunnel disorder, whether my hand nerve has been compressed because of my little finger non-movement. So I did the EMG test, and the neurologist did not give me a diagnosis, but he sent me to Johns Hopkins to do further testing. Usually, neurologists do not disclose their diagnosis at the first go. They try to do a full workup. So, in Johns Hopkins, they did my full test, blood test, lumbar puncture, everything. And then one day, the neurologist sat with me and he broke the bad news that I have ALS. First, when I heard it, I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? I was totally in shock. And as a doctor, I knew what this diagnosis is going to lead to. So I asked him how many years, and he told me 3 to 5. And I just broke down in tears. And after that day, every day was a struggle. Slowly, my hands started getting more weak, and I could not lift up my utensils, then my plane, then I could not lift up my arm, and my walking support. I used to trip over small carpets or anything. Even a tiny hindrance would make me fall. And overall, my stamina went down. My speech started getting affected. So I had to leave my job and come back to Mumbai to my parents. And at that time, I was completely into depression because I could not see anything in my future. And already I was totally dependent on a helper for all my activities of daily living. I had to take help for dressing, bathing, toileting, everything. And my speech was much worse at that time. So communication was getting difficult. But luckily for me, I read a newspaper article which talked about stem cell therapy in Mumbai, which was being done by Dr. Aanika. And I thought, let's give it a try. So I underwent autologous bone marrow stem cell therapy in 2009. I was diagnosed around end of 2004, so 2005 I was deteriorating till 2009. And after my first dose of stem cell, I started feeling better. So I took another dose of stem cell after 6 months, and since then, touch wood and my God's grace, my disease progression halted. So now from almost now 10 years, my disease has been stable and my stamina improved, my swallowing improved, my speech improved. Like at that time, nobody could understand me, and now you guys can hear me, you know. At least my speech is comprehensible, which was not at one point. So all these things gave me back the hope of life, and I started working ahead. I joined Dr. Aanika to pursue this stem cell therapy for ALS. So I'm her deputy director and head of research at Villages and Aspiration Institute. And I also started Asha Ek Hope Foundation for ALS and patients in India because there's very little awareness about this disease in India also, and they need support too. So I took up this challenge of connecting and supporting ALS patients in India. So, you know, in my journey, there were a few things I thought helped me a lot. And One is, of course, my family support, my mom, dad, sister. They help me throughout my journey, and they're still supporting me because even now I'm not cured of ALS. Tension is not a cure. It can only stop the progression. So I'm still using a wheelchair, and I cannot lift up my arm or something. So they are still supporting me. And other thing, of course, can help. And the third thing I feel is the willpower and self-belief. Believing in oneself, I think, boosts our self-confidence and gives us the strength to fight all odds in life. So I always tell all my patients that positivity and self-belief are the tools, I would say, weapon to fight against this devastating ALS. So I urge you all to support ALS community because they need help. And unless we all come together, we cannot fight this problem. And if we are all united, we can one day definitely find a cure for ALS. And as Susan said, I also support this campaign, Without a Voice You Feel Alone, because I know at one point when I was almost on the verge of losing it, I was shattered. And I mean, even if I think about those names, it brings chills and shivers in my heart. So yes, we need to support and help patients to communicate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hemangi Sane. It is really an honor for us to meet you as a person. And I'm sure, listening to your story, the motivation you gave us, the motivational life history you have, until you're fighting with this MND and ALS problems, and still you're motivating people with your kind words. And we are so proud to have you with us. And it's just an honor. I would love to meet you in person.
Someday we will definitely.
Definitely, yes. To ask you, Dr. Hemangi, how did you find that people in India in general found, so if any member of their family was diagnosed with ALS, did they allow other people to come and visit them, or do you find there's some stigma there that's attached that they don't want anybody else from outside to know that somebody in their family is suffering with some form of a disease?
Yes, ALS MND, still has a stigma because even though 10% of ALS is only familial, 90% of the patients have a sporadic type or the spontaneous type, which does not have any genetic problem or background. But still, for the lay public, they always say, oh, if one family member has got it, others may also get it. Or even the relative children may get it. So I say this, if a person has ALS MND and his brothers or sisters who are there to be married off, then her marriage can also be a problem for match finding. So usually people try to hide such things. And the patient, from the patient perspective, he or she doesn't want to be seen in a vulnerable position, that weak position. They always think that, oh, I'm not the same as before. My voice is bad and I have this weak limb on me. I cannot walk, I'm in a wheelchair. So the self-image itself is it's not that people shatter them. It's the people themselves feel that their self-image is broken, and that's why they don't want to go out and open to meet other people or let other people listen.
Okay, no, thank you very much for that, because we found Jaspal was very positive within herself, and she actually kept us more positive about it than herself. She didn't want any negativity around her. But this is why I keep on reiterating how important communication is, so they can express themselves and still be part of the community with their friends and family. So please, all I ask everybody is if you could just do this one little thing for us, which is have the hashtag without a voice you feel alone, and spread the word as much as possible. It will make a huge difference to people like us with a voice. You would think it doesn't mean anything, but seriously, it really does. It is part of their quality of life and makes a huge difference. So thank you so much, Dr. Hemangi Sane. I really appreciate you coming here today. I know it's quite late in India as well, and you don't know how much it really means a lot to me and the rest of our organisation for having you here today. Now, I believe we only have about 7 minutes left, so I don't want to overrun and I don't want to cut anybody off.
We have a question in the chat function, Susan Massey.
Can you put on the website the image?
I know, so there's, why do you think ALS or MND is increasingly developing? Is it still met with unawareness, and do you feel it's overlooked? If so, why?
There's definitely still, we do need to make more awareness, because I do feel we still don't have enough. It seems to be that if you are a celebrity, then it gets noticed within a certain community, but still there's a lot of people who don't know. Let's take ALS, the ice bucket challenge. If you were to ask quite a few people, why do you think they had that? They wouldn't know why. They just thought it was fun to do at the time, but they still don't know the root of where it came from. So there still needs to be a lot of awareness about it. And what's the other question? Sorry, I'm trying to do this quickly. Apologies.
No, that's fine. You've still got 6 minutes. It's fine to put up the background on the website.
Sure, yes, I can do that. We put that on there, so it makes it easier for everybody to see what it is that you need to do. I also have got the step-by-step guide on the website. So if you just go to jaspalsvoice.co.uk, and if you go to the blog section, you will see the steps laid out there to make it easy for you to understand what I've just said earlier. Anything else? Anybody has anything else to say or ask? No? Great. Well, I don't want to, like I say, overrun the time, but again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming on board today. It means a lot to us as an organisation. And thank you, Shweta, for this was your first time coming on board here today in front of everybody. I truly appreciate your input there.
I'm really grateful, Masi, for this, and we are looking forward to do a lot together. And for Jaspal Auntie, anything. Thank you. Appreciate that. And again, Dr. Hemangi, great to see you again. It's been a few years since I last met you in the Dublin the MND symposium there. I never forget you. You're really close to my heart. So thank you all very much. And I look forward to getting all those tags, Jaspal's tag back at Jaspal's Voice, please. So look forward to seeing more than 4 or 5.
I put the details on the chat function of the website.
There is one more question. I don't know if you guys have missed it.
What fundraising can we do?
Well, we're going to host another event where we're going to talk about some fundraising. So if you would like to join, then I will send out the details for that as well. In the meantime, each individual can organise their own fundraising. You can get involved in, it's very difficult now because of the pandemic. You know, you're limited to what you can do. But if anybody has any suggestions they want to give right now, that would be great. No, not to worry. It is hard. But yes, we are still fundraising, and we will try different things and host it on a Zoom event. So I do hope you can all join us for that and get involved in raising funds, because that is a major part to all this. Okay, Aanika, you want to finish off?
No, I think we'll let Shweta finish it up. Let's sum it all up, and we'll hand over to Shweta.
Thank you, everyone, devoting your precious time with us. It really means to all of us, especially, and I'm sure as a person never dies until he or she is forgotten. And this is how the memory of Jaspal auntie, we're keeping it in our heart. And I thank you, each one of you, for your time. And let's go ahead with hashtag without a voice you feel alone. And I want each one of you to go through the steps. If you're not, we have everything mentioned on the website of Jaspal's Voice. So you can click on that and you can see all the details of the information provided. And this is a little small help we need from your side. And this is how we can do it together. So let's be the beacon of hope and let's do it. Thank you, and wish you all a very good evening and good morning if someone is in other part joining us today. So thank you all, and I appreciate your time here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you soon. Do you want to unmute? Oh, hang on. We have a couple of questions. Anne. No. Okay. Sorry, I thought you had your hand up. Okay. Thank you. Bye.